I found the letter 3 days before our wedding. It was tucked inside his gym bag, folded carefully, written in his handwriting on expensive stationery. My dearest Olivia, it began. By the time you read this, I'll be married to someone else. But I need you to know. I didn't finish reading it then. I waited. Because I knew exactly when that letter would have maximum impact. At our wedding. In front of 200 guests. Read by me. My name is Amelia Pierce, and I'm about to tell you about the most satisfying 3 minutes of my entire life. But first, let me back up. I met Derek Garcia 2 years ago at a rooftop bar in Manhattan. He was a corporate lawyer, sharp suits and sharper wit, the kind of man who commanded a room without trying. I was a senior editor at a publishing house, ambitious and independent, never the type to lose myself in a relationship. We clicked instantly. Within 6 months, we were living together in his Tribeca loft. Within a year, he proposed on a beach in Santorini with a ring that made my friends gasp. I thought I knew everything about him. His coffee order, his political views, the way he'd mouth the words to 80s songs when he thought I wasn't watching. What I didn't know was that he was still writing love letters to his ex-girlfriend, Olivia Jones. They dated for 5 years before I came along. She'd moved to London for work, and according to Derek, it had been an amicable split. We wanted different things, he'd said. She chose her career. I respected that. He still followed her on Instagram. Still liked her posts occasionally. I'd asked about it once, casually, and he'd shrugged. We're adults. No reason to pretend the past didn't exist. I'd accepted that. I'm not the jealous type. I believe in mature, evolved relationships where exes can exist in the peripheral vision without causing drama. I was an idiot. 3 days before our wedding, I was packing Derek's gym clothes because he'd been working late every night, buried in a big case. His bag was on our bed, half open, and when I grabbed his sneakers, a piece of paper fell out. Cream-colored stationery. Expensive. The kind you buy when words matter. I picked it up, thinking it was a work document. Then I saw the first line. My dearest Olivia, my stomach dropped. I sat on the edge of our bed and read the entire thing. Every word. Every confession. Every heartbreak compressed into 2 pages of his perfect, slanted handwriting. By the time you read this, I'll be married to someone else. But I need you to know that you were always the one. Amelia is wonderful, smart, beautiful, ambitious, but she's not you. She'll never be you. I'm marrying her because it makes sense. Our lives fit together cleanly. She wants the same things I want: stability, partnership, a shared calendar of dinner parties and summer houses. But when I close my eyes, I still see your face. I hope London is everything you dreamed of. I hope your career is thriving. I hope you're happy. I hope you think of me sometimes the way I think of you. Every single day, I'll love you for the rest of my life, even if I'm living it with someone else. Yours always, Derek. I read it 3 times. Then I folded it carefully, put it back in his gym bag exactly where I'd found it, and went to pour myself a very large glass of wine. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't throw things or call my mother or collapse on the bathroom floor. I sat on our couch, drinking wine, and started planning. My maid of honor, Jessica, arrived an hour later for our final dress fitting. She took one look at my face and knew something was wrong. What happened? I handed her the letter without a word. She read it, her face going through shock, anger, and finally settling on fury. Amelia. You have to call off the wedding. No. What do you mean, no? He literally wrote a love letter to another woman 3 days before marrying you. I know. So cancel. We'll lose some deposits, but, Jessica. I looked at her calmly. I'm not canceling. I'm going through with it. Have you lost your mind? Not at all. I've actually never seen things more clearly. I took another sip of wine. He wants to marry me while still being in love with her? Fine. Let's see how that works out for him. Amelia, I don't understand, the wedding is in 3 days. The venue is booked, the guests are arriving, the flowers are ordered. Everything is paid for and non-refundable. And Derek wants to stand up there and make vows while secretly pining for someone else? I smiled, and Jessica actually took a step back. I'm going to let him. The next 3 days were surreal. Derek came home late each night, stressed about his case, apologizing for not being more present. I smiled and told him it was fine, that I understood, that we'd have plenty of time after the wedding. He had no idea I knew. I went through all the motions. Final venue walkthrough, rehearsal dinner, last-minute seating chart adjustments. I smiled for photos, laughed at toasts, played the role of blissful bride perfectly. But I'd made one small addition to the ceremony program. Jessica cornered me the morning of the wedding. Last chance. We can still call this off. I'll tell everyone you have food poisoning. I'm not calling it off. Amelia, trust me. She'd been my best friend for 15 years. She knew that tone. She sighed, hugged me, and said, whatever you're planning, I'm with you. The wedding was at a historic estate in Westchester. Manicured gardens, a terrace overlooking the Hudson, string lights in the trees. It was perfect. Magazine spread perfect. I'd spared no expense. The dress alone cost $12,000, a custom Monique Lhuillier with hand-sewn beading that caught the light like scattered diamonds. If I was going to do this, I was going to look incredible doing it. Derek stood at the altar in his Tom Ford tux, looking nervous and handsome. His groomsmen flanked him, all polished and professional. Our families sat in the front rows, dabbing at happy tears. 200 guests filled the white chairs, phones silenced, tissues ready, completely unaware of what was about to happen. The processional began. Bridesmaids walked down the aisle in their sage green dresses. Then Jessica, giving me one final questioning look. I nodded once. Then it was my turn. I stepped into view, and I heard the collective intake of breath. The dress was stunning. I looked like a fairy tale. I walked down the aisle slowly, deliberately, meeting Derek's eyes. He was smiling at me, that soft, adoring smile I'd thought was genuine. Now I knew better. I reached the altar. Derek took my hands, his grip warm and steady. The officiant, a friend of Derek's family, smiled at the gathered crowd. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today. I let him get through the opening. The standard lines about love and commitment and the bonds of matrimony. Everyone was smiling, settled, ready for a beautiful ceremony. Then the officiant said, before we proceed with the vows, the bride has prepared a special reading. Derek blinked, surprised. This wasn't in the rehearsal. I released his hands and pulled a folded piece of cream-colored paper from my bouquet. The same paper I'd found 3 days ago. I'd like to share something Derek wrote, I said clearly, my voice carrying across the garden. I think it's important that everyone here understands the full depth of his feelings today. Derek's face went white. Amelia, what? I began reading. My dearest Olivia, gasps rippled through the crowd. Derek reached for the paper. I stepped back smoothly, continuing. By the time you read this, I'll be married to someone else. But I need you to know that you were always the one. Derek's mother made a choking sound. His father stood up halfway, then sat back down in shock. I kept reading, my voice steady and clear. Amelia is wonderful, smart, beautiful, ambitious, but she's not you. She'll never be you. More gasps. Whispers starting. Derek trying to interrupt. Amelia, please, let me explain. Raised my voice slightly, continuing without pause. I'm marrying her because it makes sense. Our lives fit together cleanly. She wants the same things I want: stability, partnership, a shared calendar of dinner parties and summer houses. But when I close my eyes, I still see your face. My mother was crying, but not the happy tears she'd expected to shed. Derek's best man was staring at him in disbelief. I'll love you for the rest of my life, even if I'm living it with someone else. Yours always, Derek. I folded the letter carefully and looked at Derek. His face was the color of ash. His mouth opened and closed, but no sound came out. So, I said conversationally, like we were discussing dinner plans. I'm going to pass on the whole till death do us part thing. Mostly because I refuse to be anyone's consolation prize. I turned to face the crowd. Thank you all for coming. I know many of you traveled far to be here. The reception is still happening, we've paid for everything, and I'm not going to let good food and an open bar go to waste. Please stay, eat, drink, dance. Celebrate the fact that I dodged a massive bullet. I handed the letter to Derek's mother as I walked past. You might want to have a conversation with your son about honesty. Then I walked back down the aisle, train flowing behind me, head high, while 200 people sat in stunned silence. Jessica caught up with me at the entrance to the garden. That was the most badass thing I've ever witnessed, she breathed. Good. Now help me out of this dress. We have a party to attend. The reception was legendary. I changed into a red cocktail dress I'd secretly purchased the day after finding the letter. If I wasn't going to be a bride, I was damn sure going to look good at my own non-wedding. Most of the guests stayed. Some out of shock, some out of solidarity, some because they'd flown in from California and wanted to get their money's worth. Derek left immediately, his parents hustling him out a side door while guests whispered and phones came out. His groomsmen scattered like roaches when the lights turn on. I danced with my father, who held me tight and whispered, I'm so proud of you. I gave a toast. To knowing your worth. To trusting your instincts. And to never, ever settling for someone who thinks you're their backup plan. The crowd erupted in applause. My college roommate posted a video to TikTok. Bride reads groom's love letter to his ex at the altar. It went viral within hours. 4 million views by midnight. 23 million by the end of the weekend. News outlets picked it up. Woman cancels wedding in most dramatic way possible. Bride's revenge goes viral. The wedding speech that broke the internet. I got interview requests from every morning show, podcast, and women's magazine in the country. I declined most of them. But I did do one interview with a podcast I respected, just to set the record straight. Why didn't you just call off the wedding privately? The host asked. Because he wrote that letter knowing he was going to marry me anyway. He wrote it 3 days before the wedding. He was going to stand at that altar and lie to me, to our families, to everyone we know. So I made sure everyone understood exactly what kind of man they were celebrating. Do you regret it? Not for a millisecond. I regret wasting 2 years on him. But that moment? Worth every penny of the non-refundable deposits. What happened to Derek? Honestly? I don't know and I don't care. I blocked him on everything the moment I left the venue. And Olivia? Did she ever get the letter? I smiled. I mailed it to her. With a note that said, "He's all yours now. Good luck." 6 months later, I'm living in a new apartment in Brooklyn, a sun-filled loft with exposed brick and a view of the Manhattan skyline. I got promoted at work. Turns out publicly humiliating your lying ex-fiancé gives you a reputation for not taking shit, which apparently impresses publishing executives. Jessica lives 3 blocks away. We have brunch every Sunday. Derek tried to reach out exactly once, through a mutual friend. He wanted to explain and apologize. I sent back a single message: "The only explanation I need is the one you already gave Olivia. We're done." I heard through the grapevine that he and Olivia did try to reconnect. Lasted about 6 weeks before she realized that a man who lies to one woman will lie to another. My mother keeps asking if I'll date again. When I meet someone who thinks I'm their first choice, not their practical one, I tell her. That shouldn't be difficult to find. You'd be amazed how many men mistake convenient for compatible. People ask me all the time if it was worth it. If I'm embarrassed. If I regret being so public, so dramatic, so unforgiving. Here's my answer: he wrote a love letter to another woman while planning our wedding. He was going to stand at that altar and promise me forever while his heart belonged to someone else. He thought I was too safe, too accommodating, too invested to ever find out. I found out. And I made absolutely certain that everyone else did too. Was it dramatic? Absolutely. Was it petty? Maybe. Was it justified? You're damn right it was. Because here's what I learned: you teach people how to treat you. And if you let someone make you their backup plan, their safe option, their "she's not you but she'll do" choice, you're telling them that's all you think you're worth. I'm worth more than that. We all are. So yes, I read his love letter to his ex at our wedding. In front of everyone. With 0 apologies. And I'd do it again in a heartbeat. If you've ever been someone's second choice, their practical option, the person they settled for, drop your story below. You deserved better. We all do, and if you ever find a love letter your partner wrote to someone else, don't cry in private. Don't suffer in silence. Don't convince yourself you're overreacting, read that shit out loud. Preferably in front of everyone they were planning to lie to, trust me. The look on their face will be worth it.